Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Engineering students joining us from wherever you are joining us in the world. We're so glad to have you with us. My name is Terry Edmonston, and I'll be kicking off everything this morning. It gives me great privilege to kick it off by introducing our coordinator, Jed Gibbons, to speak first. If you have questions during this presentation, feel free to click on the bottom of the Q&A button, and that will take you into our question and answer section, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions before the end of the session. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Jed. Good morning, Jed.
Good morning. Thank you, Terry. I apologize for my video not working as we're having some technical issues with the camera, but I do have a PowerPoint presentation prepared so we can go over that, which should be here ready to go shortly. Okay, so this is a picture of our campus in Owen Sound, pretty much your main entrance. So with our new COVID rules too, that's pretty much where you enter is through this the main entrance here. So the parking lot is kind of around to this side and to the front, but there's a little roundabout, and that is how you enter through to the campus. So welcome, there we go. That's good. Feel the welcome, feel the love through the distance that we have right now. But since we're really fortunate in our program, we have in-person component in labs, you still get to interact with your fellow classmates. So myself, I am the program coordinator. Maria is our program assistant. So if you need anything, Maria can help you out with that. And Len is our chief operating engineer. Because we are a regulated program through the TSSA, which you've probably heard, we have our chief operating engineer. And so he is responsible for our physical plant and our faculty that you will see in your first semester. There's Marco, Lori, Olga, who does co-op hour, Mike, Guy, Aaron, Ryan, and Larry. So normally we have a little kind of interactive part here of if you can guess what these items are, which might be interesting if we don't have a voting audience. Sorry. So we have here, this is just something, right? Like, what is this? Well, you don't know. What? Like, no guesses. Any guesses? No, no guesses. Does that help us at all? Is it a cloud? Is it something like that? Well, the image is supposed to be steam. Steam, that's why we're here, essentially. You know, that's what the whole part of kind of a major part of power engineering is, steam-based power technology and transferring energy from one source to another through the power of steam. What about we try this one? Does this work for anyone? Do we have any guesses on what this could be? No? Well, it's something. Sure there. Oh. Has anyone ever seen a green triangle before? Do we know the terminology of the green triangle? CSA approved. It's our steel toe boots. So pretty important. You should have a pair of steel toe boots of your own in the power lab that you know, basically protects you from any drops, any things that could hurt your foot. And there's a plate underneath if you step on something. So in the power lab or in the other labs, you are required to have PPE, and parts of your personal protective equipment, your PPE, are steel toe boots and safety glasses, plus the COVID masks. Now we have another image here. Random guess. Most people, this one's way more obscure. And it's a ball valve. So one of our many things we get to use on campus is actually assembling and building something. So valves will become a good part of your life, and you will be able to learn the different types of valves and the applications for them. So there's just a couple things that you'll certainly be exposed to in the power engineering world. Program review. So because we have our dual kind of accreditation, so not only do you get an advanced college diploma, but you also get a TSSA certificate for basically attending our approved college program. You get a reduction, and you, with your co-op work experience, you can get your 4th class license in the first year, and then you get your 3rd class license in the 2nd year. And there's some exams you have to pass as well. And so the TSSA, who they are, they work to deliver public safety services on behalf of the Ontario government. So they look after, more importantly for us, operating engineers and boilers and pressure vessels, but as well they look after elevated automated platforms like escalators, elevators, and amusement rides, ski lifts. They look after other stuff and fuels handling, but for us, it's majorly just the Boilers and Pressure Vessels Act and the Operating Engineer Act that we're concerned about. So what is a power engineer? What do? They supervise, operate, and maintain machinery and boilers. So that sounds fairly easy enough, but the things are you learn all these extra fun things at college of how to do that as well, how to properly and safely maintain equipment and how to supervise the equipment. And also it becomes, as wherever you are, as a managerial and supervisory part, as that you can have control of the people below you. And as you go up in class levels, you become more responsible for people and equipment. So the machines that we look after provide steam, power, heat, refrigeration, and other utility services to industrial and commercial facilities. So there's lots of either food processing or packaging plants. There's also buildings that create power for our electricity grid. There's lots of things out there in the world of power engineering, lots of different places you could get into to work. So as I kind of mentioned before, the safety boots are required and safety glasses is a part of your PPE, and you are not allowed entry into a lab without your PPE. So that's where the boots are important, that you have your green triangle for them, as they need to be CSA approved with that stamp, and you need to have safety glasses as well. Depending on the lab, sometimes you might need hard hats or hearing protection, but most of the time we provide that with increased sanitation due to COVID reasons. Before you enter the campus for labs, so again, because we have that in-person practical component, you will need to download the Safe Georgian app. So now its major use is COVID pre-screening, but also there's other information on there like safety and tips, and if you need to contact someone from campus safety and security services, that you can access that. So there is the links for that, and I share this PDF normally. I'll email it out as well so that you can have these hyperlinks to click on, but there is the apps available at the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So our textbooks that we use are the Pan Global textbook series. So for your first year, which you should already have received the email from me, is that you would get your basically a Pan Global 4th class book set. And so you purchase them directly from Pan Global and they will ship directly to your house. And they cover everything we need for the first year of your courses for the first 2 semesters, and it covers everything you need for your TSSA exams. So the regulatory body on the outside of the college is the TSSA again, and so you would write 2 exams with them, but you get taught all the content and material you need in the college setting. And the books for your communications or gen ed courses will be assigned by your instructor, but for the most part, you just need those textbooks for the first year. On your timetable, you should have something that looks kind of like this with, we have chemistry on there, electricity and controls, introduction to power engineering, power plant fundamentals, power plant communication, power plant simulation 1, power engineering, intro to math and sciences, welding techniques, and your co-op hour. And so those should be showing up in your timetable. If you don't have those on your timetable, please let me know and we can get you registered into some of those courses. With our semester layout, in the first semester, we cover all the 4th class A material. So there's 2 book series with the Pan Global 4th class. There's A books and B books. So we covered the 4A, which is your first test that you would probably do with your TSSA exams. So with that, you need to pass with a 65% with the TSSA to get your 4A test exam as a pass. You need 65%. In semester 2, we cover all the 4th class B material, and you need a 65% on that as well. The TSSA's minimum mark is 65%. Then you would go out on your co-op where you get practical experience in the field, and you get your steam time letter, and you get a sign off from the chief operating engineer at that plant. And you would have some paperwork you have to fill out, some of your TSSA forms. There's a skills record book to say what you have learned at that site. And so after 3 months plus, you get your steam time, and then you will be essentially, if you have your exams passed and that steam time done, you put in to get licensed, and you will have your 4th class certificate from that point. And so Our normal rules is that if you have to have your 4th class certificate in hand or in the process of it before you start your 3rd class with the 2nd year of the program. So that's kind of like you need to have your 4th before you can get your 3rd. So it's important for people to have their 4th class license before they start into the 3rd semester. So in the 3rd semester, we covered the 3A1 material. So if you noticed, we've added we've added a number to our letter series. So there on the 4th class level, there was 2 exams, and on the 3rd class level, there's 4 exams. So we have the 3A1 that's lined up with the 1st semester, 3B1 and 3B2 is pretty much covered in the 4th semester, and in the 5th semester, we cover the 3A2 and the 3B2 material. And so all those exams also need 65% to pass, and they're all multiple choice all the way through for the 4th and 3rd class. A 2nd class gets into short answer or essay style exams. And so in the 5th semester, it's special. And after week 10 is complete, you go out on a 1-month work term. So you get the 1 month is what you need for your 3rd class STEAM time. So that is what you get in that point in time. So if everything works out, you get all your exams passed and placements and everything, you can be a fully licensed 3rd class operating engineer at the time as you leave the college. And I use the term operating engineer so that's the legal name in Ontario for the profession, but in Canada, the term is power engineer. So if you look up stuff, there's the term power engineer, and then there's also operating engineer. So the power engineering is the name of the course, but in Ontario, the legal name for it is operating engineer. So a really good day to note is Friday, January 29th, and that's your last day to add a course to the semester. So say if you have forgot one in your present registration that I showed on that previous list, if you don't have one of those courses, that is your last day to add it. And then it's also a day that you can drop it without no penalty, and you get most of your money refunded back to you. And if you have an exemption, that would be your last day to get it processed for this semester at that point as well. So your co-op, as was kind of talked a bit about before, you need a co-op credit to graduate. You guys, if you're studying right now in the winter, you'll have semester 1 in the winter, semester 2 in the summer, and then September is fall. That is when your co-op will be in this year 2021. And it's your job to find, interview, and secure a job, but the college does provide co-ops as well, co-op opportunities, but it's not like you are given a co-op opportunity. You still have to apply for it. Some are unpaid, the majority are unpaid, and there's some in our local area, or else there's some other parts of Ontario. As we draw from other parts of Ontario, it kind of works for some people to find a co-op where they live, or if they have friends or family in the area as well. And you may need to purchase the practical skills record book, depending if the plant you go to actually has a training program in it with it. So as I've mentioned, with our TSSA certification for the 4th class level, we have 2 provincial exams, the 4A and the 4B for the 4th class level. You must gain your 3rd class practical experience with your co-op, successfully pass all classes in the first 2 semesters, and be deemed competent and of good character by the faculty team. So essentially, I myself am signing off on your reduction so that you can get your license quicker because you went to the college. That's pretty much how the TSSA approval works. So the 4A and 4B exams, the 4A covers material from semester 1, 4B covers from semester 2. Testing locations are available all across the province. So that's with some of the Ontario government testing centers that they use, so you can write your exams there. There is one available in Owen Sound, and we but with COVID, it's been a little bit difficult to have our test settings on the campus, but we usually do 2 per semester. So we're looking at starting that back up again this winter semester with increased sanitation and distancing requirements. Normally it's during reading week, and the end of the semester is when we would host and have some test sittings. So you can do it at the college. We're an approved site versus you having to, say, drive to another city center. The tests that you have to do are 150 multiple choice questions, and if you need that 65% to be considered a passing mark, and if you fail an exam, you will have to wait 60 days in between exam sittings. Because you get a STEAM time reduction with the college, that you are required to attend and be present for lectures and lab components. And so there is an attendance policy that is required in your academic calendar that you can see as the general college attendance policy. And then as well with our TSSA part, there is, because you're getting a reduction in time, you're supposed to be essentially on campus in labs or online with the lecture with your instructor. So it's a specific policy for power engineering. It is a requirement by the TSSA because essentially they're saying if you're in college, you're learning the material, we know you're there, they're giving you a reduction of your operating time that you would have to get on the outside if you're actually working, which is like you're saving, time by coming to college and you get your license quicker. So that's kind of what is nice about that, and it prepares you to pass your exams. If you are absent, or if there is, bereavement in your family or inclement weather, that you're required to provide a note for our file. We don't really necessarily need to know why you weren't there. We just need someone to sign off and saying that you would be there if it wasn't for an illness or something like that happened. So to qualify for the practical time reductions, you're required to meet a minimum of attendance of 90% of each of your classes. So each class, your instructor will take the attendance at the start of the class. We have this with our previously with the with our main attendance policy, but as well with COVID reasons, we need to know who is on campus and when, so that in case there is someone was infected or something happened, that essentially you could be notified. So if you miss a class, you're expected to make it up. You're expected to arrive on class on time. Early would be really helpful, and are to remain for the duration of the scheduled class. And it is your attendance. If you leave early, that'll be noted as well, and you're expected again to make up that time. So you need to have 90% of your attendance on campus. Obviously, snow days and other things play into that, but essentially your reduction is based off the fact that you're learning the material and you're there. So it's you're expected to be there. Power engineering is a professional field, and students are expected to treat their academics with the same respect as they would a job. If you're going to be absent, you must notify your supervisor, which is your professors or instructors, in advance. You can only be excused for classes based on documented medical absences, inclement weather, if you feel it's unsafe, recognize religious observances, or bereavement. So we have, obviously, especially due to our area, we have our snow policies, and the college does close from time to time, which is a bit more of a concern right now because with our labs already being kind of like our only time on campus, hopefully if you miss a day, it's not like we can work something out. So normally the college will post out on the local radio station or on the college website. They use Twitter as well. That's something to note on there. And then if you're curious, you can call the campus phone number, and it usually has on the automated announcement if it is closed on a snow day or not. If the college is open, it does not mean it's safe in your area, as we have a lot of students that drive from an hour plus around us. It is pretty important to note that obviously your safety is important, and if you feel it is unsafe, or if there's local road closures, or the plow did not come down your road and there's like 3 feet of snow, it's okay. We expect that you can't make it. It's just good to let someone know. So you should know your instructor's email, or at least have the college phone number so you can call, leave a voicemail with your instructor if you're going to miss a class or time, because we expect you to be there. And if you're not there, we just are curious why you cannot make it. So you should be in contact with whoever your instructor is to let them know of your situation, because if you are missing that time, or if you're expecting later on to be like, oh, like 3 days ago I was sick, but you don't have any proof or anything, it's really hard to say anything at that time because you forgot a test or something. So you can contact through email. So on Blackboard or on Banner, you can see your instructor's email, so you can contact them, and you can also call the local number for the campus, which is 519-376-0840. You can use their extension, which should be posted on Blackboard, but as well, you can just, it's like an automated service, and you can just say whatever the person's name is into the phone, and then it will connect to their voicemail. So for the key academic contacts or supports, I'm Jed. You should know that by now, I guess. I'm responsible for the program itself of power engineering. I teach in the program. I'm the point person for the program, and I can answer specific questions about anything you have about the power engineering field. Megan Braithwaite is your student advisor, which I believe you get to meet tomorrow. She will help you be successful with your academics, and she can go and cover over study skills, time management, build in academic resilience, navigating academic tools, platforms, policies, and procedures, and processes. And Megan helps me out a lot with having people that are having registration issues. She understands it way better, and she can certainly help you out with that, or else even picking gen eds, co-ops, a lot that Megan can help you with. Build personal resilience, capacity to manage stress and reframe setbacks, and referrals to counseling and other support services needed. And so we do have counselors available on site at the college as well. They're normally at the college, but now they'll be working from home for the most part. And so you have that service to you, and Megan can help connect with you with a person for service. So there's the student advisors that you can contact through, and one of the main ways you can just contact them is you can call the number. So it's available on the campus website that you can get a hold of someone from Student Success, and you can just contact them and book a time and see if you can connect with someone for that. So the academic expectations and some good important dates for our winter. The ad drop, as I mentioned previously, is January 29th. So that's your last day to add, it's your last day to withdraw. Then also as well, you should have your semester fees are due by February 1st. Family Day is a holiday on February 15th, so the college will be closed on that day and there'll be no classes on that day. And then Good Friday is our other holiday in the winter semester, and that's on April 2nd. And our last day of classes are April 23rd. So we have our academic regulations, which you can find with this hyperlink that cover over all of the listed things there, the overview, admissions, registration. So if you're ever curious of how to go about something, or why something is a rule or the rules, you are expected to read these things, as it's important for your graduations under there, your academic rights and responsibilities, academic misconduct, appeals, and test and exam regulations. It even says in there that you should show up early for your test. You know, you shouldn't show up just on the exact time of when your test is supposed to start. You should show up early. So there's different ways that your instructors will kind of cover courses. They're synchronous or asynchronous, and for the most part, most instructors are synchronous, which is kind of like what we're doing here with a live setting that you can kind of pop up if you have any question answers, and that it's occurring in real time. But sometimes also some instructors will record it and put it online for future viewing. If you wanted to watch it again, if there was something that you're unsure of, you could use it for that. Asynchronous, it would be completed really on your own timeline, and you don't have too much interaction. But whenever with our courses, we have a mix of the two, and there'll be some recorded sessions, but as well there's tutorials and drop-in info sessions, and then the labs for that. So asynchronous, it's with Webex, Microsoft Teams, or a similar platform, which you're hopefully probably starting to get used to, is some of these virtual platforms like that. It's a live communication, and you should show up prepared and ready to participate. If you're asynchronous, it'll be, say, on Blackboard or another platform, and communication will be sent via email, discussion board, or another service. The huge part is with asynchronous is that you must be self-disciplined to stay up to date, and it's harder to be accountable whenever someone's not there asking for you for something. So that's just it's really important for time management skills. And what is academic integrity? The International Center for Academic Integrity defines academic integrity as a commitment, even in the face of adversity, to 6 fundamental values. And they are honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. Why is academic integrity important? It means that people can trust that you will act honestly and do what you say you will do. It means that you will believe in doing the right thing even when no one is looking. Being trustworthy and acting with integrity is what employers are looking for and contribute to your reputation. It also lets employers know that students are knowledgeable and well prepared for success in their careers. As a big part of what we say is we want to know what you know. You are being tested, not your friend, not your roommate, not your parents, not your cousin, whoever it is. We want to know what you know so we can certify and have the accreditation under your name and not their name. What does it mean to study with integrity? Students are responsible for conducting themselves in a manner that brings credit to themselves and the college community. Studying with integrity means students complete their own work, cite others' work appropriately and accurately, and participate in group work and take responsibility for demonstrating what they have learned. So there's the academic integrity module that is built into your Blackboard that you should be able to see that now. And there is a report that's taken off to make sure that everyone completes it. It is a 3-part module designed to support the understanding of academic integrity at Georgian College. Some people might just not fully understand it or know what it is, so that is covered in this module, and you can find that on Blackboard. How long will it take? It should be no longer than 45 minutes. There's 3 parts to the module, and normally we have it as 2 weeks after the start of the semester. You are expected to have it done, and some instructors will not accept any of your work or have a test within that period because they expect that you watch that and you understand your rights to know that if, you know, basically what you can and cannot do and the penalties attached to if you do not follow by the rules. And what you need to pass, there's 8 to 10 questions on each section, and you must achieve an 80% in each section to pass. If you do not achieve that 80%, you can repeat that section until you're successful. Academic resources. So there's the Blackboard. What is Blackboard? It's not just a piece of, you know, in a physical environment. It is an online learning management website that we use at the college to convey out announcements to let students know of what's going on. And also there's assignments that can be put online. You can find your syllabus, your course outline, how to contact your instructor. There's lots of different things on that. And then some courses will use discussion boards on Blackboard as well. So it's a fairly versatile program. Your student portal is your one-stop shop for your information, so you should be able to just pull that up whenever you go onto the Georgian College website. You can log in through the student portal. A lot of this computer-based sessions that the college has been having throughout the orientation period, so there are some more sessions. If you're kind of curious about how to log in and how to get access, there is help for you. The Library and Academic Success. Their website is there, the library.georgiancollege.ca. Because we have a fair amount of math in our program, that some people seem to struggle with that. Or if you're really strong, we offer, there's tutoring you can get, and there can be peer-to-peer tutors. So like reaching out to the library is a really good way, and that service has moved online. So we still have that availability to you. And if you go to the Ask On, which is this kind of little app here that they talk about, that you are sometimes talking to the person that works at the library at the Owen Sound Campus. So if you have a power engineering specific question, they will connect you with Dale because she works in our library and she knows our content really well. So you can go there for research help, writing support or feedback, to book a tutor, drop in math help, and to just ask a question. So you should be able to request your library user and ID pin with that link down there at the bottom as well. And again, I'll send this out in a PowerPoint so the links, the hyperlinks will all be available. And it's very important to have that pin, as there's some videos that are not found on YouTube, but they're found on the library's resource website that we have, and that you can only watch if you have your pin and user ID. So some of your instructors will have you do that in the first bit if they have not or even posted that already for your first semester. So the GCSA, which we have Terry here representing that today. So that's your student life, peer mentoring, orientation, which is today, and other engagement opportunities. They're still trying to keep us connected, even though we are online. There's still the parts of what the GCSA, the events that they are going to try and do. But so for your 2020-2021 council, these are your people that were elected previous to you coming to the college. So Ashley is the president, and Mike is our VP for internal relations, and he is in the power engineering program. So if you, it's really nice to have someone from the program represented on GCSA. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to them. With our peer mentors, they support students with their transition to college life, because that can be really hard for some people if you're away from home for most people's part, or just, the differences of high school to the college setting. You can access college resource. There's building of peer-to-peer connections and the college community involvement and participation. Campus safety. So we talked a bit about this vaguely a bit before. There's the COVID-19 protocols. What should you do before you arrive on campus? So you should complete the online training module, which is also on Blackboard with your academic integrity module. There's the Safe at Georgian app that you need to download, and you need to basically go through the COVID pre-screening before you do it. And there is a video on there, but I've just taken it off for our current session. All right, you can watch that on your own in the future. So what should you expect on campus whenever you arrive now in the winter semester? You should check out the page that's down here. There's a hyperlink of what to expect when you're on campus. So there's the safety protocols of sanitation. You are expected to be as a part of it as much as we are. So, there's hand sanitizer, there's hand soap. Some of our labs have actually sinks in them that you can wash with soap and water as well. Then there's the what entrance you should use, the face coverings you should wear. There are some masks available and face shields if you would like to wear that. And then what's open and closed, where there is for lunch areas, and more. So there is some areas where you can, in the cafeteria, that if you want to have a meal, eat, that it's open there. So our specific stuff for COVID, because we have on-campus activity, everyone must wear a face covering. Everyone must sanitize when entering or leaving a room. So basically you should do it before and after. And depending on the lab room, you must sanitize the equipment before and after you use the equipment. So you're sanitizing it in case the person before you didn't do a sufficient enough job, and you're sanitizing it for the person after you. For campus safety services, just with sexual consent is that at the college, only yes is consent, and we take that very seriously here. And if you would like to find out more information on anything of campus safety services or with sexual violence, you can click on the link there. We all have the right to study and work in an environment free from sexual violence. It's never okay. So basically there's a high strict standard set here, and it's never okay for anyone to make anyone feel uncomfortable and do something that they do not want to do. Our campus is smoke free. This is a year and a bit now that we have chose and made the effort to go smoke free. So you can be fined if you choose to smoke anything on campus, and that even includes e-cigarettes or vapes. So you cannot smoke on the campus at all. For online orientation, you should check out on the student portal page where you can find out supports and services available to you. There's kind of the little parts there, so you can see these things. You should already be a part of the online orientation. I believe they send out everything through email, but it's available to you on the student portal. This is some of the stuff going on here with our events to try and engage and be a little bit different. They've spread it out over a couple of days, so you can see some of the stuff has already basically happened there. Some was yesterday, some's today of the esports, so you can get involved with that, and you can find it on the student portal, and there's the live chat as well if you have any questions. I think that is our last slide. Okay. Oh gosh, now I'll stop sharing. Okay. Now, are there any questions? I see Terry was able to answer one question there.
Yeah, if you do have a question, just post it in the Q&A and we'll be happy to answer those for you. maybe some folks want to tell us, share with us where you're calling in from today. Jed, we've got a quiet group today.
I guess so, yeah. It's a gray day outside here too, at least in my area. So, you know,
Jed, Michael has a question for you.
Oh, sure, yeah, okay.
There we go.
That's under the Q&A. Oh, Mike, okay. For Welding Tech Weeks, yes, so we have welding masks that, excuse me, are provided. And so the college has this like fogger machine and, excuse me, so hang on a sec. There we go. My talking voice is coming back, you know. So we have in the labs that we have this fogging machine. So I'm not too sure if it's a chemical or alcohol based piece of equipment, but the college has bought a couple of them. And not only just with physical sanitizing, we are using this fogging machine, and it actually like clings a disinfectant to the masks. So the welding masks are provided for you. That you can buy your own welding gloves as well, or else what we've been just doing now is using not latex, but the other kind of product, the mask or the gloves. Sorry, that if you can put a glove on inside of the other gloves, but also we sanitize the welding gloves as well. And for Liam, yeah, the textbooks are not included in with the tuition fee. So that is basically the textbooks you will buy from the book publisher, Pan Global. And I sent out the email mid-December with the links for the textbooks. Yeah, so the first week of classes will be online, so no in-class portion, and we have yet to receive an announcement on that. The plan is still for January 25th due to the protocols we have in place on campus for in-person labs, but the first week will just be online. So with the COVID situation, if we're unsure, we have this because the provincial government just announced yesterday about the new, basically an extension of the 28 days of the stay-at-home order. We are unsure right now exactly, but we believe we should be able to still have our in-person labs, but there will definitely be some more communication out about that. So we will let, obviously there'll be like an official college announcement that comes out, and then there'll be more questions or there'll be more things that come out from that. So what we end up having to do in the past is we just did condensed labs. So instead of say doing a 1 or 2 hour a week lab, there would be like 4-hour lab sessions that were kind of like held at later on in the semester. So we might have to look at doing that this term as well. feel free to ask any other questions you have. I will be sending out a PDF of the PowerPoint presentation as well. So for the Soapy Binder, we do have copies of, that's a very good question. We do have the Soapy Binder available on campus. In the library, we have 2 copies. And then as well, if we write and test on campus, we have the Soapy binders if we're testing, but the binders cannot leave the library. And right now with our COVID rules, I believe you can still access the Soapy binder, but you just have to book a time in the library for that. So for your schedule, you can find that on Banner. So if you go to the student portal, you can click on Banner, and that is how you can access to see your student timetable, so that you can see your schedule. And I can send out any emails if you missed that. So we have some, we don't use AutoCAD in particular. It is available through the college, I believe, on the Software Center or Apps Anywhere. But we usually use Automation Studio is another software we use. So if your computer doesn't need to be a good computer, but it doesn't need to be as powerful to handle AutoCAD. And so Automation Studio is kind of a heavy user, but you should be okay with most computers for that. So if just as a point out, if you're using Webex is what most instructors will be using as a software for presentations similar to this, but it's just a different platform. So you should just make sure to not use your student number or any personal identifiers whenever you're signing into Webex. So some people use that and then their student number is shown out as like their username. So you don't want your display name. So you don't want to sign up with that, just as kind of a first tip, to make sure that you're not using your student number and putting that in. You just put in your regular name, how you want it to be on there, so that yeah, people just don't have your student number, because that is a privacy issue. Do we have any questions? Any more questions? There is some time set aside that I will send out to you for if you guys have any questions or answers. There'll be an open drop-in session for the first couple of days and maybe into the second week of the semester. If you if you need anything extra, any guidance, or if you're confused about anything or any questions or answers, that you can just drop into, and I'll be available for that.
So Jed, I wonder, because the program was scheduled to start over in Webex at 10, from 10 to 11:30, did we want to close this one and move over to the Webex and see if anyone joins there?
Sure, yeah, we could do that. I can answer the one textbook question as well. So there's several small, they broke it down into like almost, like they're not thick books anymore. They're just much smaller. Like now they're probably, some of the books are like 20 or 30 pages. So you get a book set series. And so each of your courses use the textbooks that you have. So you will use your textbooks quite often. You could get digital versions or you can get physical versions of the textbooks. And your instructors will, most of the time, they're just either referencing the textbook directly, showing that on the screen, or else they've have PowerPoints created to kind of just highlight stuff from the textbook. So, but the textbooks are used in all of your classes, basically. For the first semester, most of your classes, aside from like co-op hour and welding, it's mainly just more hands-on, but you will use the textbook in the welding course as well. But the good thing is you don't have to worry about lugging around the books, I guess. Now, if you're at home with the lecture part, you don't have to worry about having the textbooks there. But your instructor will tell you at the beginning, and whenever you have like your first class, they will have your textbooks of what you need for that class on your first day. They'll have that posted under the course information. So we can switch over then to Webex.
Yeah. Jed,
yeah.
do you want to post the Webex, your personal room Webex, into the live Q&A announcement right now, so then anybody that's on this call right now can have the link quickly to move over if they have further questions.
Okay, so the link is in there. I have the Webex site is going up already, but I guess there's just a now late question. So there is objectives for your 4A and for your 4B. So there is the Soapy guideline that breaks down what we are to cover and what we're to teach. And the Soapy guidelines of that go to the, that you can, basically our textbooks are created from the Soapy objectives.
Okay. Well, we can probably wrap up then, Jed, and move over to the Webex room.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Ron.
Awesome, I'll stop it now.
Thank you.